I started with the cross in 1968. I was witnessing on Sunset Boulevard with the hippies. I was going in the nightclubs. They would throw me out, and then I would keep going back and wound up preaching on stage in the nightclubs, the rock and roll clubs, the topless nightclubs on Sunset Boulevard. And the guy that ran 5 of those topless nightclubs has been a preacher now for years, led him to the Lord. And but I was preaching at rock festivals. I preached on stage with Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Steppenwolf, Ted Nugent, the Rolling Stones. Was in the Beatles' last recording session. I was out there sharing Jesus everywhere. Made the cross because Jesus said, make a cross. Put it on the wall of your building, right on Sunset Boulevard. We rented a building, called it a Jesus nightclub, had free food, coffee, everything. Got ready to put the cross on the wall, and I didn't have a wrench and to tighten down the bolts at the center. And a Hell's Angel guy drove up in front of our building, and I went out and I knew him because I'd been preaching at the Hell's Angels camps and even preached the Hell's Angels funeral. And I said, Tom, could I borrow your wrench? He said, yeah, and he got his wrench in it out, and he said, what do you need? And the cross was laying flat, and I said, I need to tighten down the center bolt. He said, what is it? I said, it's a cross. He said, here, you do it, you do it, you do it. And I saw the power of the cross, and I tightened the bolt down real slow as I witnessed to him. And when I got through, he said, I don't want anything to do with that. He got out, he went back on his motorcycle, took off. But before he left, I said, remember, Tom, your wrench tightened down the center bolt. I said, every time you see a cross, you'll think, my wrench tightened down the center bolt. Jesus died for me. I was the one that put him on the cross because he loves me. And he goes, I don't want anything to do with that. 3 or 4 nights later, he was back. And he was standing there looking at the cross. And I said, I thought you wasn't coming back, Tom. He said, I never saw so many crosses. I said, what do you mean? He said, I go down the street on my motorcycle. There's crosses. There's so many churches with crosses. I didn't even know it. Even crosswalk. I mean, there's crosses are dry. I think my wrench tightened down the center bolt. I put him there. Tell me about it. And I had the privilege of leading Tom to Christ. And I saw the power of the cross. And then I started carrying the cross along Sunset Boulevard. This was during the hippie time. Black Panthers, Hell's Angels, all kind of folks as well as businessmen and all kind of, it was a crazy scene. And I was out there mixing it up with the radicals. And finally one night at 5 o'clock in the morning, Jesus said, take the cross off the wall of the building, put it on your shoulder and carry it across America and then to the world and identify my message with the people where they are. And I said, okay, and prepared to leave on Christmas Day, 69. And when 2 weeks before, I had a sharp pain in this side of my head, and instantly I started having numbness on the right side of my body. At Glendale Adventist Hospital, they did a brain scan with dyeing my blood, found 2 aneurysms in my brain, blown out blood vessels, and they wanted to do brain surgery. And I was allergic to the dye, and my neck swelled bigger than my head. And I was packed in ice, and they said, don't move. How do you vomit straight up when you're vomiting? I mean, I was in a bad shape. And the doctors say you need the surgery. You can't get excited. You can't lift anything heavy. And I said, I'm supposed to leave next week. I was talking like this. with a cross to walk across America. He knew I needed brain surgery then. And laying in that hospital bed, I said, I'd rather die in the will of God than live outside of it. And I got up, took the medicine, threw it in the toilet, and said, I'll die with the wind in my face. And that was 1969. Went down to Sunset Boulevard, and Christmas morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, my pastor, Gwen Turner, and a few old stone leftover hippies were left there to see me off in the morning, and started walking down the street, difficult to speak, difficult to walk, and now I've walked around the world. The Guinness Book of Records says it's the longest journey in documented human history. 80 million steps, and this is the fourth cross. You say, why the fourth? Because the others have been broke. I've been hit by cars, slid off mountainsides. I turned out looking better than them. And after all these years now, every nation, every inhabited island group in the world, over 40,000 miles, 321 nations, island groups, and territories. I've been in jail 24 times for Jesus. I've been in 54 wars. I've been taken out to be shot before a firing squad. I have been hit by cars. I've been through all kinds of things. I've preached 2 times, one with a razor at my throat, and the other time a knife at my throat while I was preaching. I've had guns put to my head. I've had people come with nails to nail me to the cross. And through many dangers, toils, and snares, having walked 80 million steps and carried 18 billion pounds, I'm here 72 years old, never felt better in my life. Jesus did it. All glory to God. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I'll dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Glory to God.